For nearly 4 decades, something has been flying above us at Mach 5+, leaving donuts on a rope in the sky. While the government denies its existence, seismologists recorded its sonic signature. Engineers witnessed it refueling, and mysterious Thursday morning booms shook California for years. This is aviation's greatest secret, the SR-91 Aurora, the hypersonic beast that may have been hiding in plain sight all along. It's 1985. Ronald Reagan's America is locked in a technological arms race with the Soviet Union. Then, the Los Angeles Times drops a bombshell. Hidden in the U.S. defense budget, investigators discover something unusual, a line item labeled Aurora with a requested allocation of $2.3 billion for black aircraft production in fiscal year 1987. Aviation Week and Space Technology magazine picks up the story, and suddenly the aviation community is buzzing. According to their reporting, Project Aurora wasn't just one aircraft, it referred to a group of exotic aircraft programs. But here's where it gets interesting. Ben Rich, the legendary director of Lockheed's Skunk Works, the same team that built the U-2 and SR-71 Blackbird, later claimed Aurora was simply a budget code name that got leaked by mistake. A Pentagon colonel had arbitrarily assigned it to B-2 bomber funding, he said. But if Aurora was just an accounting error, why did the sightings start happening right after the budget leak? Why did seismologists start recording unexplained sonic booms? And why did engineers in the North Sea witness something they'd never seen before? Before we reveal what they saw, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and hit that notification bell. You don't want to miss what's coming next because this evidence will blow your mind. Now let's talk about what was happening in the late 1980s that made Aurora not just possible but necessary. By the late 1980s, aerospace engineers knew something critical. America had the technological capability to build a Mach 5 hypersonic aircraft. The SR-71 Blackbird, with its Mach 3.2 top speed and 80,000-foot ceiling, was already pushing 25 years old. Enemy air defenses were evolving. Satellites were improving but couldn't provide real-time intelligence. The U.S. needed something faster, higher, more advanced. The question wasn't if they could build a hypersonic reconnaissance platform, it was whether they already had. That strategic uncertainty set the stage for one of the most intriguing sightings in aviation history, because just months later, the question of whether such an aircraft already existed would no longer be theoretical, but disturbingly real. It's August 1989. In the middle of the North Sea, Chris Gibson, an experienced engineer working aboard the jack-up barge GSF Galveston Key, is going about his routine when he notices something unusual in the sky. He's not some random observer. Gibson is a trained aircraft recognition expert with 12 years in the Royal Observer Corps. What he sees stops him cold. An unfamiliar isosceles triangle-shaped aircraft, unlike anything in the known aviation inventory. It's flying in formation with a Boeing KC-135 Stratotanker, a refueling aircraft and accompanied by 2 F-111 fighter bombers. Gibson watches for several minutes as this mysterious delta-winged craft maintains position during what appears to be an aerial refueling operation. Gibson immediately sketches the formation, capturing the unusual shape of the mystery aircraft. When his sighting goes public in 1992, the British Defense Secretary Tom King is briefed. Here's the official response. There is no knowledge in the MOD of a black program of this nature, although it would not surprise the relevant desk officers in the Air Staff and Defense Intelligence Staff if it did exist. They're essentially saying, we don't know about it, but we wouldn't be surprised if it's real. That's not a denial, that's plausible deniability. But Gibson's sighting was just the beginning. What happened next in the skies over Britain would add even more credibility to the Aurora legend. It's autumn 1993 around 2 a.m. Group Captain Tom Eales, a senior RAF officer, is asleep at his home near RAF Mildenhall, a major USAF base in Suffolk, England. He's suddenly awakened by an aircraft sound he's never heard in his entire military career. A very strange-sounding aircraft passing overhead. The engine noise was a pulsing sound, quite unlike anything I'd heard before. Eel sees lights disappearing toward Mildenhall. The next morning, he makes inquiries with a senior RAF officer at the base. The response? He's told firmly to stop making inquiries at once. A few weeks earlier, there had been an unexplained incident at Boscombe Down, an emergency landing by an unknown U.S. aircraft, which was immediately covered in tarpaulins and secretly removed by an American C-5 transport. The pulsing engine sound eels heard would soon become Aurora's signature calling card. Now let's fly across the Atlantic to Southern California. Mid to late 1991. The United States Geological Survey operates a network of seismic sensors across the region, designed to pinpoint earthquake epicenters. But starting in 1991, these sensors begin picking up something unexpected, a series of unusual sonic booms. Seismologist Jim Morey, analyzing the data, makes a puzzling observation. We can't tell anything about the vehicle. They seem stronger than other sonic booms that we record once in a while. They've all come on Thursday mornings about the same time, between 4 and 7 a.m. Think about that pattern. Same day of the week, same time window. These aren't random booms from commercial or military traffic. The sonic signatures indicate a smaller vehicle than the space shuttle, and neither the shuttle nor NASA's single SR-71B was operating on those dates. So what was making these booms? 15 years later, former NASA sonic boom expert Dom Maglieri would study the California Institute of Technology data and reach a stunning conclusion. If this is blowing your mind, hit that like button and drop a comment telling us what you think Aurora really is. And don't forget to subscribe. We're just getting to the smoking gun evidence. Trust me, you won't believe what happened next in Amarillo, Texas. Dom Maglieri's analysis revealed something extraordinary. Something at 90,000 feet, Mach 4 to Mach 5.2. These weren't booms from aircraft traveling through the atmosphere miles away at LAX. These were high-altitude booms from an aircraft directly overhead, moving at hypersonic speeds. The boom signatures were wildly different from any known aircraft. Something was flying regular test missions over California at speeds that shouldn't have been possible in 1991, speeds that would make it the fastest aircraft ever built. It's March 23, 1992, in Amarillo, Texas. Aviation enthusiast Stephen Douglas is about to capture the first photographic evidence that would define the Aurora legend for decades to come. Douglas hears something unusual, a sound he describes as a strange, loud, pulsating roar. Unique, a deep pulsating rumble that vibrated the house and made the windows shake. Similar to rocket engine noise, but deeper, with evenly timed pulses. He grabs his camera and photographs the contrail left behind. What he captures becomes iconic, a distinctive pattern that observers would call donuts on a rope, a series of pulsating circular shockwave formations unlike any conventional jet contrail. But Douglas captures something even more intriguing than the photograph. He's a radio enthusiast, and he's monitoring air-to-air communications. He intercepts transmissions between an AWACS aircraft with the call sign Dragnet 51 from Tinker AFB, Oklahoma, and two unknown aircraft using the call signs Dark Star November and Dark Star Mike. The messages are phonetically transmitted alphanumerics, military code. A month later, radio enthusiasts in California monitoring Edwards AFB radar, call sign Joshua Control, hear early morning transmissions between Joshua and a high-flying aircraft using the call sign Gas Pipe. The transmissions reveal altitude and distance. You're at 67,000 feet, 81 miles out, 70 miles out now, 36,000 feet above glide slope. These aren't typical commercial or fighter aircraft altitudes and speeds. So what creates donuts on a rope contrails? The answer lies in exotic propulsion technology that was being researched in the 1980s. Pulse-detonation engines. Unlike conventional jet engines that rely on continuous combustion, Pulse detonation engines create thrust through rapid, repeating detonations, explosions essentially. Each detonation creates a pressure wave, and when these occur in rapid succession at hypersonic speeds, they could theoretically create exactly what Douglas photographed: periodic shockwave patterns resembling donuts on a rope. This technology could propel an aircraft to Mach 5 or beyond, with a pulsing sound exactly matching what witnesses like Group Captain Eels described. The pieces were starting to fit together. In February 1994, deep in the Nevada desert, Chuck Clark, a former Rachel, Nevada resident and Area 51 enthusiast, is doing what few people would dare: camping in sub-zero temperatures near Groom Lake, the facility better known as Area 51. It's 30 degrees below zero, probably 90 below with wind chill. Clark has hiked into Whitesides from a difficult route, and he's staying for days among the rocks under a camouflage tarp with 6 layers of clothes, an insulated face mask, and 2 sleeping bags to avoid presenting a heat signature. At 2:30 a.m., something emerges from a lighted hangar. Clark watches through his telescope-coupled high-8 digital video camera with 520 scan lines of resolution, better than broadcast TV. What he sees matches Aurora's rumored configuration: a sharp delta with twin tails about 130 feet long. It uses a lot of runway to take off. It has 1 red light on top, but the minute the wheels leave the runway, the light goes off. Then it disappears into the night. Clark videotaped the entire event. So where's the tape? Locked away, Clark told author David Darlington in the book Area 51, The Dreamland Chronicles. His reasoning: that's a legitimate spy plane. My purpose is not to give away legitimate national defense. When they get ready to unveil it, I'll probably release the tape. Whether you believe Clark or not, his description matches other sightings. The sharp delta configuration, twin tails, nighttime operations from Groom Lake, extreme security measures. And Clark isn't some conspiracy theorist with a blurry photo. He's describing specific dimensions, takeoff characteristics, and lighting configurations. If he's lying, he's constructed an incredibly detailed lie that matches independent sightings across 2 continents. Here's where things get really interesting. While eyewitness accounts can be dismissed, budget analysis is harder to dispute. Aviation writer Bill Sweetman spent 20 years doing something most people wouldn't have the patience for: examining military budgets, tracking untraceable dollars, and following code names through the labyrinth of classified programs. By 2006, after 2 decades of investigation, Sweetman made a bold statement. Sweetman learned how to sort out where money was going in the black budget world. When he examined the Air Force operations budget in detail for 2006, he found something that stopped him cold: a $9 billion black hole that seemed a perfect fit for a project like Aurora. $9 billion. That's not pocket change. That's enough to fund a cutting-edge hypersonic aircraft program for years. But where was that money going? The Air Force wouldn't say. Congress couldn't say or wouldn't, and the paper trail went dark. After examining budget holes, unexplained sonic booms, the Gibson sighting, the California seismic data, and years of accumulated evidence, Sweetman concluded, does Aurora exist? Years of pursuit have led me to believe that, yes, Aurora is most likely in active development, spurred on by recent advances that have allowed technology to catch up with the ambition that launched the program a generation ago. This isn't some random conspiracy theorist. This is one of the most respected aviation journalists in the world, putting his professional reputation on the line. And in 2017, something happened that added fuel to the fire. But the year 2017, it was different. In the month of June, Aviation Week publishes a report that should have made headlines everywhere. Rob Weiss, the general manager of Lockheed's Skunk Works, the same legendary division that built the U-2, SR-71, and F-117 stealth fighter, makes a stunning statement. Weiss confirms that a hypersonic research project exists. Moreover, he states that hypersonic flight technology is now mature, and efforts are underway to fly an aircraft with it. The head of Skunk Works is saying hypersonic technology is mature, and they're flying something with it. Not developing, not testing, flying. So if the technology is mature in 2017, when did it start? How long has it been in development? And could Aurora have been the test bed that made this maturity possible? There's another piece of this puzzle. In 2000, Aberdeen Press and journal writer Nick Outerside, citing confidential sources, alleged that RAF USAF Machrihanish in Kintyre, Argyll, Scotland, serves as a base for Aurora aircraft. Machrihanish has an almost 2-mile-long runway, which is perfect for high-altitude experimental aircraft. Its fenced-off coastal approach makes takeoffs and landings virtually invisible to the public. Here's the twist. Oceanic Air Traffic Control at Prestwick tracked fast-moving radar blips. Staff claim that a hypersonic jet was the only rational conclusion for the readings. When you combine the Gibson North Sea sighting, the Mildenhall incident, the Machrihanish allegations, and the Prestwick radar tracks, a pattern emerges. Aurora, if it exists, has been operating over British airspace for decades, likely with tacit UK cooperation. To understand why Aurora might be real, you need to understand what the SR-71 Blackbird was and why it couldn't last forever. Developed by Lockheed Skunk Works in the early 1960s from the CIA's A-12 Oxcart program, the SR-71 was a Cold War masterpiece. Flying at Mach 3.2 and above 80,000 feet, it didn't evade missiles, it outran them. Its titanium construction withstood temperatures exceeding 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Its specialized JP-7 fuel doubled as coolant and hydraulic fluid. It flew from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. in 64 minutes, from London to New York in 1 hour, 54 minutes. But by the 1980s, the SR-71 was aging. Soviet air defenses were improving. Satellites couldn't provide real-time intelligence. And the Blackbird's maintenance demands were staggering. Each flight required hours of inspection and specialized refueling. When the SR-71 was retired in 1998, it left a capability gap that hasn't been officially filled. Think about that. The United States, the most technologically advanced nation on Earth, voluntarily gave up its fastest reconnaissance aircraft and replaced it with nothing? Does that make sense? Or is it more likely that something already existed to fill that gap, something so classified that acknowledging its existence would compromise operational security? Consider everything we've covered. A $2.3 billion budget line in 1985. Chris Gibson's North Sea sighting in 1989. Group Captain Eales's pulsing engine sounds in 1993. Thursday morning sonic booms over California recorded by USGS sensors. Dom Maglieri's analysis showing Mach 5+ signatures at 90,000 feet. Stephen Douglas's Donuts on a Rope photograph and radio intercepts. Chuck Clark's Area 51 videotape locked away. Bill Sweetman's $9 billion budget hole in 2006. Rob Weiss confirming mature hypersonic technology in 2017. Scottish radar operators tracking hypersonic contacts. That's not circumstantial evidence, that's a pattern. A pattern spanning 3 decades, 2 continents, and involving seismologists, engineers, RAF officers, journalists, and Skunk Works leadership. The U.S. government says Aurora doesn't exist, but the evidence says something has been flying at Mach 5+ since the late 1980s, using pulse-detonation engines, operating out of Groom Lake, and possibly Machrihanish, conducting regular test flights over California and the North Sea. The truth about Aurora may never be fully revealed in our lifetimes. Black projects stay black for a reason, but the evidence speaks for itself. From budget documents to sonic boom data, from eyewitness accounts to expert analysis, the case for a hypersonic reconnaissance aircraft is stronger than the case against it. So do you think the SR-91 Aurora is real? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into aviation's greatest mystery, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss our investigations into classified aircraft and black projects. Share this video with anyone who loves aviation mysteries. Let's see if we can finally get to the truth about Aurora.